Welcome to Traveling Adventures, your quest for love. This show is for singles searching for the perfect lifelong partner wherever in the world they may be. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And let us go ahead and begin, shall we? Alright, so we're traveling digitally to the beautiful and mysterious, magical country of Egypt. That's right, it's not just all pyramids and camels, people. They do have modern lives. As with any Arabic country, there's a modern side, thank goodness, and there's a traditional side. Also, thank goodness, because without a traditional side, well, they lose their culture. And I don't think they'd like that, right? Not everybody can be modern the way the US is, or many European countries are. I like it when countries have a traditional and a modern side. I favor the modern side, but it's kind of disappointing when the cities turn too modern and then they lose their culture. Like similar when they brought in the euro for Europe. Well, now the individual currencies went away. So, to each their own. Just keep that in mind because we're only going to go over the modern populations in terms of people to possibly get into a relationship with. Have to explain that because people think that Arabic countries are still stuck in the old days. Yes and no. All right? They're hip with the times, so don't worry. Now, with that said, let's go ahead and begin, as always, with the good men and women of Egypt. What makes them so special? And maybe, interestingly enough, they might actually be a perfect fit for you. So as always, we're going to dive into what are people saying, what have people actually said about Egyptian people according to how good of a partner they'd make. Well, let's go ahead and begin with the Egyptian women. Women first, as always. The power was out for 8 hours. Okay. You know, this is unfortunately common in the country in many places, so just keep that in mind. It's a different world, okay? The kids were screaming and my phone was dead. She lit candles, made pancakes on the gas stove, and turned it into a camping adventure. The country was falling apart, but her house was a fortress. All right, so a responsible woman. Everybody wants that, right? I watched her tear into a relative who insulted my career at a wedding. Not a tearful defense. A calm, surgical takedown that left him speechless. All right, so she's ferocious. She's going to defend you and the relationship. That's good. You need strength. She doesn't just have your back. She's your forward assault. Hey, gotta be soldiers and warriors, right? My paperwork was buried in some office for months. She took my file, visited her cousin's friend's sister who worked there, and I had my passport in 3 days. She doesn't navigate the system. She owns the shortcuts. All right. So very, very useful, right? You know, smart, intelligence here. That's always a big plus. She'll be covered up and proper all day, then close the bedroom door and tell me exactly what she wants. Ooh, getting spicy with the Egyptian women. There's zero shame. Yeah, as it should be. It's like she has two completely separate settings. Public and us. Absolutely. See? So you can keep it traditional to please the family, the folks. But once that bedroom door closes, lion and lioness. Time to get busy. Her mother called, crying about some family drama for an hour. Yeah, that's pretty typical with families. I heard the whole thing. She hung up, sighed, poured me a drink, and said, "Don't ask." She absorbed the blast so I wouldn't feel the shockwave. Yeah, absolutely. So you got to speak up, right? You don't want a quiet woman and a quiet man. You guys got to speak up. You know, a person of few words is a weak person. We got a cheap wedding gift for her aunt. 2 years later, when that aunt needed a favor, my wife smiled and said, "Of course, remember how generous you were at our wedding?" I saw the aunt's pale face. She never forgets a score. Hey, a little bit of sweet revenge. You know, there's a little bit of justice. What can I say? I came home stressed about money. She didn't ask a single question. She just put a plate of food in front of me, gave me a back rub, and said, "Eat. We'll figure it out tomorrow." Isn't that lovely? You know, you don't have to come home and for some added stress. How sweet is that? Her love language is handling it. Absolutely. Just get it done. I mean, why start even more drama? Don't make a bad situation worse. We were stuck in insane traffic, a total gridlock. Instead of complaining, she pointed out the absurdity. The donkey cart next to the Mercedes. The guy selling tissues between lanes. Yeah, it can be very hectic in the Arabic setting. Okay, there's a lot going on, people. And had me crying, laughing. She finds the joke in the misery. Absolutely. You gotta laugh some stressful situations off. Otherwise, stress is a killer. No matter what chaos happened during the day, blackouts, protests, family fights, our home at 8 p.m. was always clean, smelled like incense, and had tea ready. She built a bubble of sanity and refused to let the outside in. Absolutely. Your home is a sanctuary, okay? That's your castle. Now, men, you're the prince or the king, and your woman's the princess or the queen. That's your castle. You don't need literally a castle to live in. Your home is a castle. So make it your own fairy tale, because fairy tales can come true. When true love, that's why they say true love, is acquired, is achieved. She looked at my messy CV and said, "This is crap." Okay, so his resume. So she actually says this is crap. Wow. See what I mean by modern people? Then she rewrote it, connected me to 3 people, and coached me for the interview. When I got the job, she said, "Good. Now for the next step." She's my strategist, not my cheerleader. Well, she is a cheerleader. But with that added smartness to her, hey, it's a big plus. Yeah, she sounds like a cheerleader to me, but she's also smart. Well, there you go, men. You want a smart, strong woman, passionate woman by your side? Consider an Egyptian woman. Modern, of course. Let's go ahead and shift gears to the Egyptian men, shall we? This is what they say. My visa application was a nightmare of red tape. He took the file, went to the office, and came back 3 hours later with a stamp. All right, that's similar to the Egyptian women. "I talked to a guy," was all he said. He doesn't see obstacles. He sees puzzles he's entitled to solve. Absolutely. Gotta be a problem solver, men. He showed up at my work with a massive bouquet in front of all my colleagues. It wasn't subtle. It was a statement. "See this woman? Mine. And I can afford this." That's a lot of pride. It was territorial and honesty. Thrilling. Yes, honestly thrilling. What can I say? You know, when your man shows you that he loves you, come on, women. You like that. And so do men when you show them how much you love them in such a bold way. It doesn't matter if it's in public or in private. It's very beautiful. He came home after a bad day, threw his keys down, and said, "Forget it. Let's go to Alexandria." Three hours later, we were eating fish by the sea. He doesn't dwell on problems. He creates escapes. Yes, there's a time to escape. You know, that's why they call it vacation, to vacate your domestic life. Get out. Go get some fresh air together. Go to another city that's nearby. Who cares? It doesn't have to be 3 hours away. It's adventurous. It's spontaneous. It's beautiful. Many people, they don't get it. They just don't do these things. It's horrific. In bed, he's less about romance and more about competence. It's like he studied a manual and his goal is to get an A+. Well, that's kind of a good thing. His focus is intense and his pride is on the line, which works out very well for me. Okay. Quite a strategist behind closed doors. He promised his friend he'd help him move. It was 113 degrees outside. He was there at 6 a.m., shirt soaked through, hauling boxes, his word to his friends in a blood oath. When he promises you something, you know it's done. Yes, you got to be a man of your word. That's so crucial. Don't make promises you can't keep. The economy crashed and the currency halved in value. He came home, shrugged, and said, what can you do? We still have each other. Oh, that is very sweet. Let's get koshery. He has this way of making an apocalypse feel like a minor inconvenience. Absolutely, people. Similar to the Egyptian women, you got to take things, a bit of laughter when possible. De-escalate. Don't stress so much. Life is already hard enough as it is. Why make it harder? He took me to his alley where he grew up. He knew every shop owner, every store behind the cracked walls. The pride in his voice wasn't about wealth. It was about roots. He gave me a map to his soul. Yes, be open. None of this man of few words garbage trash. It's just garbage. It's just ridiculous. Like, be open with your partner. That's where all the excitement is, in the finer details. Our fridge was always empty. Then he'd call, say he's bringing friends, and magically arrive with 5 kilos of meat, a case of soda. All right, so party animal. And 3 cousins who started grilling. He creates a party out of thin air. Well, that's always great, isn't it? You gotta be festive. A taxi driver tried to scam me, charging triple. Well, that's despicable. My husband leaned in the window, spoke 2 calm sentences in Arabic, and the driver's face went white. Yeah, he's pretty pale now, huh? Not such a tough guy anymore. He handed back the money and sped off. I didn't need to understand the words. The power was clear. Yes, stand up for your woman. Stand up for yourself. That's why you can't be a man of few words, a little weakling. Enough of that. I was sick with the fever. He canceled his plans, made me soup, and literally checked my forehead every hour. Well, isn't that sweet? Usually expect the woman to do that, but when the man does these sweet things, come on, that's magical. He didn't just care. He took full operational command of my recovery. I felt like a mission he was determined to win. Well, isn't this beautiful? Look how romantic all of this is. Egyptian men and women are like a fairy tale come true. What can I say? This is a very beautiful introduction, right? All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. But it's always, like always, it's time to shift gears to the bad men and women of Egypt. I'm sorry it's not going to bring the fairy tale down. That's the ideal partner to get involved with, whether you're a man or a woman, looking for an Egyptian partner. But just be aware that there's always a toxic side. So with that said, ice cold disclaimer. The following does not apply to all men and women of Egypt. So don't get offended. Don't be a little wussy, okay? Complaining, because this is just a reality check. Yes, it can be a living live fairy tale, but you have to earn that. You have to create it. Life is what you make it. All right? So with that said, let's go ahead and dive deep into the toxic side of Egyptian men and women in particular, beginning with the Egyptian women, shall we? I found out she'd been taking half my salary for a year and sending it to her brother. Wow, that's not good. Not cool. Not cool. When I confronted her, she stared me down and said, "So you want my family to starve?" Oh, that's not fair. Is that the man I married? That's not fair. Come on, people. My money was never ours. It was always theirs. All right, we've seen this with other cultures, whether it be Arabic or Latino. The families, the toxic ones who just use you as an asset, as a tool for utility. And yeah, they're going to suck you dry in a bad way. What can I say? Avoid it. There are red flags for that stuff. If I so much as like a woman's photo on social media, this is a big one, it's a 3-hour inquisition. Oh, come on, people. Who is she? Why did you like it? Do you think she's prettier? It's not jealousy. It's an FBI interrogation for a crime I didn't commit. Well, that's what it's going to feel like, buddy. It's okay to be a little jealous, but not jealousy on steroids. Now we're in the toxic quicksand. No, thank you. The sex stopped completely after our second son. When I tried to initiate, she pushed me away and said, "I'm a mother now. That's dirty." Oh, come on, give me a break. She didn't just lose interest. She acted like my touch was a sin. That's despicable, okay? Look, she's not obligated to have sex with you, but what gives? What's going on here, right? It's not about if you get what you want. It's about this is a big problem, right? It's the attitude problem. This type of stuff should not exist in a relationship. All right, just because you have kids, that's a beautiful thing. But when you have kids, you are very deep into a serious, supposed to be a lifelong relationship here, okay? This isn't a time to be one foot out the door. This is the way divorces happen, people. This needs to be addressed, all right? It's not about forcing your partner. It's about asking what gives. What's up with this attitude, right? We got to talk about this. You can't continue like that. All right. Everything can be handled, by the way. Just because you have kids or you're stressed, everything has a solution. Sex is extremely important, okay? It should be happening. Both of you should want it. When one partner doesn't want it, something needs to be covered because it's not love anymore. Her entire family showed up unannounced for a weekend visit that lasted a month. There's that dreaded toxic family, I tell ya. They ate my food, criticized my job, and she just kept serving them. I wasn't a husband in my own home. I was a guest being judged by the owners. All right, so total takeover. Not cool. I wanted to change careers. She cried for days, saying, "What will I tell people? That my husband is starting over like a failure?" My dream was less important than her gossip defense at her cousin's wedding. All right, so obsessed with the image, right? Unfortunately, that is very toxic. What can I say? And, once again, mainly provoked by toxic families, right? She doesn't get angry. She gets cold for weeks. That's too long. What are you talking about? She'll sleep in another room, answer me in one word. This is immature behavior, people. And act like I'm a ghost. You know, the silent treatment is abusive behavior, believe it or not. The silence is louder than any scream, and it's meant to break me, and it will. And sadly, toxic women out there think that this is funny. It's not. It's not clever either. You're just killing your own relationship. You're killing what should be a good thing. It's really selfish behavior, and it's really immature behavior. Grow up, right? She told our son, "Don't bother your father. He's tired from making our money." Wow. She turned me into an ATM in my child's eyes. My role was reduced to a function, not a father. That's very shameless. That's very disrespectful. During an argument, she didn't yell. She called her mother and sister, put them on speaker, and let them berate me for 20 minutes while she sat in silence. Wow, this is like total warfare. She outsources her fights to her personal army. Exactly. Personal army. That's really sad. Talk about a toxic family and a toxic spouse. Her friend's husband bought her a new car. That night, mine listed every single thing wrong with our life, ending with, "I guess I just don't deserve nice things. My value is measured against other men's purchases." Wow. You know, it's just shameless interest right here. These are all the wrong things that should never even be close in a relationship. Quite despicable, to say the least. What more can I say? It is what it is, people. You guys got to avoid this. Seriously, do not tolerate any of this. No. Huge red flags. I asked if she was happy. She sighed for 10 seconds and said, "What does it matter?" Then she walked away. We got major communication problems with toxic Egyptian women here. Trying to have a real conversation is like trying to hug a brick wall. She communicates in exits, not words. All right, so that's pretty bad. Okay, people? Those are, wow. It's quite a nightmare. I'm just going to leave it at that. Let's go ahead and shift gears to the toxic Egyptian men. So beware, women. On ego, he'd rather drive the family off a cliff than admit he took a wrong turn. Well, that's not. Wow, man. Being wrong is a death sentence for his manhood. just admit you're wrong. What is wrong with you? So he's never wrong, even when the wreckage is on fire. Okay, look, if you're wrong, you're wrong. Just admit it. Get it over with. Stop making a fool out of yourself, right? But if you're right, okay, stand your ground, die on that hill if you want to. I mean, if it's worth it, sometimes it's just not worth it, right? Don't be a pushover. Stand your ground if you're telling the truth. Your partner should trust you that you're telling the truth, right? As long as you're not lying, you're good to go. But you also got to ask yourself, is it really worth it? Because maybe it's just a trust issue at that point in your defense. On cheating, he told me, all men look at other menus, baby. It doesn't mean I'm not eating at home. Oh, wow. Okay, that's one way to put it. Then I found the receipts for the other restaurant. Oh, okay, now I get it. I was really thinking of another illustration there. Yeah, okay, so all men look at other menus. I've heard this before. 31 flavors. You can look but don't order. It sounds cute on paper, but it's not. It really depends on your partner if you guys are just joking around with this, but it really doesn't belong in a relationship. Just end of story, okay? On his mother, his mom calls, he jumps, she criticizes my cooking, he agrees. We were on a date and he left because she was lonely. I'm dating a 35-year-old toddler. All right, so once again, the toxic family strikes again. This is like lightning bolt number 12. I lost count. On promises, he painted a picture of a palace. We got married, and I live in the tool shed. Doesn't sound like a palace. The palace was just talk. Beautiful, poetic, empty talk. Well, like I said before, you got to be a man of your word, right? Don't make promises you can't keep. What can I say? On friends, his friends are his real wives. Yes, we've seen this before in other extreme cultures. I get the leftovers. Every weekend, every holiday, it's me and the kids waiting for him to come home from his 8-hour coffee with them. That's just... What do you need 8 hours with your friends for? I mean, give me a break. I don't even have to say anything. That's just downright ridiculous. What a clown. Anybody who does that is... You're not in love. That's all I'm going to tell you. On provision, he'll spend our rent money on a gold necklace for me to wear in front of his friends. All right, so a trophy wife, right? We look rich for a night, and I'm begging the landlord for mercy for a month. Yeah, okay, so get your priorities straight, right? It's very immature behavior here. We've seen kind of sort of this before. Rarely, but we have, with the Latino culture. On sex, after marriage in particular, the guy who wrote poems about my body now just grunts and rolls over. All right, this is the first time we see this in the series. This is absolutely despicable. This is toxic masculinity, okay? Your partner is not a freaking mannequin. She has feelings. She's supposed to be the woman you love, you idiot. So you grunt, have your orgasm, and roll over like it's nothing. This is one of the most disgusting things about toxic masculine males that don't deserve to be called real men, that I will preach. And you know, the toxic males, they'll say, well, who cares? Well, obviously your partner cares, which you don't care about. We'll start there. I mean, the saddest part is that they don't see the wrong when they do this. They don't see it as wrong. It's like a mental disorder. You know what I'm saying? It really is. Like stupidity. Just complete idiocy. Like there's no brain in that thick skull. It's a 5-minute chore. He checks off his list. Well, of course, right? It's really selfish. It's really immature and selfish. It's abusive behavior, actually. You're just using your partner. You don't even give a damn. It's really sick. The switch flipped the day the wedding photos came back. Yeah, shameless. What can I say? On anger, he doesn't get mad. He performs mad. Slams doors. All right, so emotionally out of control. Shout so the neighbors hear. breaks a plate, all to prove he's the boss. Then he expects dinner like nothing happened. All right, so this is just demented behavior. Goes hand in hand with number 7, by the way. There's people out there, men who actually, well, males, just toxic males, who legit will defend this sort of toxic behavior. And they'll call themselves men when obviously they're not. Okay? This is abusive behavior on both 7 and 8 here. End of story. Number 9. On street smarts, he can talk his way out of a traffic ticket. Fix a car with a paperclip. Well, you gotta improvise, right? And know which official to bribe. The system is a game to him, and he's a champion. Just don't ask him to change a diaper. Oh, this is really cringe. On possession, he says, I love you so much I can't stand anyone looking at you. Oh, wow. So they also have toxic jealousy. Then he gets angry if I wear jeans. It's not love. It's him putting his favorite toy back in the box. Absolutely. Trophy wife, right? Okay, people. So lots of toxic things, but lots of beautiful things, which leads us to my final verdict. Well, a modern Egyptian woman in particular, yes, for the men too, but always much more beautiful for the women. It's very nice, the Egyptian women description in terms of the good, but you don't want somebody who's a hybrid of the toxic and the good, as I always say, right? Lots of red flags, but lots of green flags. So go for the green flags. That's why I don't encourage dating. I encourage friendship first. Yes, you can identify all the green flags. And if there are any red flags, you got to iron them out and change the color from red to green if it's possible. If it's not possible, then you're doing it to yourself because you're passing go knowing that that little snowball can easily snowball into a huge snowball, and then before you know it, the entire relationship is kaput. It's over. It's done. So you got to see it coming. Yes, you can't, don't act like, no, I didn't see it coming. No, all the red flags are there. Sometimes they're teeny tiny, not microscopic, but maybe the size of a finger. You should be able to identify all red flags, big, medium, small, all of it, and get it done. Change the color, if there are any. With that said, the Egyptian women they sound great. The modern ones, obviously, don't go for traditional because they're not going to have that unless you're Muslim. But you got to play the traditional rules. There's a lot of taboo stuff that we went over there in the good traits if you're going to go traditional. All right, so with that said, what can I say? Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Probably the most interesting Arabic country that we went over, this time in Africa. So, pretty interesting. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Also, be sure to sign up for your free membership on my website. And best of luck on your quest for love. Much love, everybody.